ሰላም ተማሪዎች እንደምን አላችሁ? ባለፈው ሶልቪንግ ራሽናል ኢኩዌሽንስ ኤንድ ኢንኢኳሊቲ የሚለውን አሳይቻችሁ ነበረ። ዛሬ ስኬች ዘ ግራፍ ኦፍ ራሽናል ፈንክሽን የሚለውን ይዤላችሁ መጥቻለሁ። ሌት አስ ሲ to sketch the graph of rational function we consider this main steps or components. We must consider this. The first one, determine the domain of your rational function. የመጀመሪያው ስራ rational function domain restrict ወይም ደግሞ determine ማድረግ ነው. As a second step, find the intercepts. Intercepts we have either x or y intercepts if any. We'll try to find them. The next one, find the asymptotes. When you come to the asymptote, you have vertical asymptote or horizontal asymptote, or it may be oblique asymptote to the graph of the function if any. As we said before, vertical asymptote means the value of x that makes the denominator 0, and that factor cannot be common factor both numerator and denominator. The denominator common factor ያልሆነ. For instance, if you have x minus 1 over x plus, the vertical asymptote for this is what? That is equals to negative 2 ይሆናል. It is not common for numerator and denominator. If you consider another example here, x plus 1 divided by x squared minus 1. This is equals to 1 over x plus minus 1. Then x plus 1 common factor ስለሚሆን we take this is equals when x is different from negative 1. Since x plus 1 is a common factor both numerator and denominator, in this case the vertical asymptote here you have x is equals to 1. We can't consider negative 1 since negative 1 is common for numerator and denominator. So ይሄን መውሰድ አንችልም. In case horizontal asymptote, the degree of numerator and denominator must be determined as follows. If the degree of this numerator is less than degree of denominator, in that case the horizontal asymptote y is equal to 0. If they are equal, y is equals the coefficient of leading coefficient for numerator divided by for denominator. Otherwise, if this one is greater than the degree of denominator, in that case we have oblique asymptote to the graph of the function. So we have to consider this case. The next one, check holes. That means if I have a common factor both numerator and denominator, in that case make or check that holes. That holes means it is not defined at that point and the graph also doesn't consist that point. One point consists አያደርግም ማለት. If you consider this one, እዚህ ጋር ለምሳሌ x plus 1 over x squared minus 1 የሚለውን x different from negative 1 ብለን, but if substitute negative 1 here how ስንሰካው ምን ይሆናል? Here is negative 1, substitute here 1 over negative 1 minus 1. This is negative 1 over 2. This means it makes whole እንላለን ማለት. Lemon, at this point negative 1 is not in our domain, and when simplify that we have 1 over x minus 1. At this time, if we substitute negative 1, we obtain the value that is negative 1 over 2. And negative 1 over 2 doesn't include in our graph. Because of this, we make whole there. The last one, sketch the graph of each of the function. How can I sketch the graph? By considering the other one, sign properties or analysis of sign. Sign property apply እናደርጋለን. That means you can use in this case sign chart. Sign chart apply እናደርጋለን ወይም you can use this one. ይህንን sign property analysis ካደረግን በኋላ we can sketch the graph of our function that ያለን function sketch ማድረግ እንችላለን ማለት. So to sketch the graph of the function, we must consider all these things we have. እነዚህ ነገሮች consider ወይም ደግሞ የመጀመሪያ identify ማድረግ ይኖርብናል ማለት ነው. Let us see it. It says that f of x is equals 1 over x minus 4. So the first one we'll try to do here is find the domain of your function f. Domain restriction, this becomes all real number except the zeros of the denominator, which is x minus 4 is equals to 0. But the value, no, this is equals all real number except the zeros of this x minus 4, that is false. So simple. This is the first one. The second one, we'll try to find intercepts. In case of intercepts, you have two intercepts, x or y intercepts. To find x-intercept, make y is equals to 0. This implies that 0 is equals 1 over x minus 4. Then crisscross this one. This is 0 times this is x minus 4 is equals to 1. But the product, this is 0 is equals to 1. But it is impossible. This shows that no x-intercept. No x-intercept. Similarly, to find the y-intercept, make here is or when x is equals to 0. But the value, this is equals to f at 0, which is equals 1 over 0 minus 4 is equals to negative 1 over 4. So this is the y-intercept. Y-intercept becomes y is equal negative 1 over 4, or we can express as form of coordinate geometry. When x is 0, the value here we have negative 1 over 4. It's y-intercept. Y-intercepts. After obtaining the y-intercept, the next one, we'll try to find the asymptotes. Next one, consider asymptotes. Here we can find the horizontal asymptote. Degree of numerator is less than degree of denominator. In this case, the horizontal asymptote is equals y is equals to 0. Vertical asymptote means the zeros of the denominator. Here denominator of 0 ይሆናል, but it is no common factor both numerator denominator. X minus 4, it is no common factor both numerator denominator. Because of this, the vertical asymptote is equals x is equals to, that is 4. As next, is there in whole? No whole. No whole. Case of whole, both numerator denominator. Here we have. The other thing that we consider is that let us see properties of the graph or analyze the sign properties. In this case, let's try to apply sign chart. When apply sign chart, that case take the zeros of numerator denominator. Denominator should not, this is equal to, take this one. This means 4. At 4 it is 0. Let's continue to the next. G of x is equals x plus 2 over x squared plus 5x plus 6. We can express this as the forms x plus 2 over. If you factorize the denominator, their sum is 5 and their product 6. See what? This is x squared plus 3x plus 2x plus 6. Here you have. This is equals to x plus 2 over x plus 3 times there is x plus 2. Factorize the denominator. So from this, restrict the domain. What is the domain of G? G domain all real number except the zeros of the denominator. That means x squared plus 5x plus 6 is equals to 0. This means which is equals all real number except what? Except negative 3 and negative 2. This is the domain of our function. Yeah, rational function when we function in domain here. We obtain this one. After that, you try to find the intercepts. In case of intercepts, as we said, here we have x and y intercepts. How can we find? When the value of y is equal to 0, we can find x-intercept. But here we can simplify it. When simplify this one, we cancel x plus 2 by x plus 2, which is equals 1 over x plus 3, with x is different from negative 2. Here we are. X is different from negative 2 አልን ማለት ምን ማለት ነው? x plus 2 የሚለው it is common factor both numerator denominator ማለታችን ነው በሌላ አነጋገር። So when y is equals 0, but the value of x, this means 0 is equals to 1 over x plus 3, which implies 0 is equals 1. What does imply? This shows that no x-intercepts. No x-intercept. x-intercept የለንም ማለት ነገር ግን የብዙ ተማሪዎች ስህተት ምንድነው? ዳይሬክትሊ x-intercept ማለት you did it as this one. ምን ታረጋላችሁ? g of x ን 0 ታረጉና this is 0 is equals to x plus 2 over x squared plus 5x plus 6 ታረጋላችሁ. This means it shows that crisscross ታረጉ 0 is equals x plus 2 ይሆናል. This implies that x is equals negative 2 ታረጋላችሁ ብዙ ጊዜ. ይሄ የሚሆነው መቼ ነው? if x is equal -2 in the domain ሲሆን ነው -2። ነገር ግን common factor ከሆነ we can find the x intercept after simplification ወይም ያገኘነው ቫሉ የx ቫሉ ቼክ የምናደርገው ምንድነው? ዶሜናችን ውስጥ መኖሩን ቼክ ማድረግ አለብን ማለት ነው። እዚህ ጋር ስንመጣ -2 is not in our domain is all real number except -2 ነው። ስለዚህ ይሄን ዳይሬክትሊ ሶልቭ ስታደርጉ without simplification ሲምፕሊፋይ ከማድረጋችን በፊት ሶልቭ ስናደርግ x = -2 ይሆናል። ይሄ ማለት it is not the x intercept መሆን አይችልም። ለምን? it is common factor numerator denominator or as well as it is not in the domain of our function የፈንክሽናችን ዶሜን ውስጥ ያለ ቫልዩ አይደለም። it is not in the ዶሜናችን ውስጥ ስላልሆነ we can't consider this as x intercept አንወስድ። ስለዚህ መጀመሪያ ሲምፕሊፋይ ማድረግ አለባችሁ ወይም ዶሜን ሪስትሪክት ካደረጋችሁ በኋላ ዶሜናችሁ ውስጥ መኖሩን ቼክ ማድረግ ይጠበቅባችኋል ማለት ነው። ያ ካልሆነ ዳይሬክት የምትሰሩ ከሆነ you make a mistake without determine the ዶሜኑን ዲተርሚን ከማድረጋችሁ በፊት ዳይሬክትሊ ሶልቭ የምታደርጉ ከሆነ that intercept that value may not be in the domainaችሁ ውስጥ ስለማይኖር you make a mistake. The next one we'll try to find what the y-intercept. Y-intercept means when x is equals to 0. What's that? This is equals to f at 0, or you can say this is y is equals to 1/0 plus 3. which is equals 1/3 ይሆናል። you can express this in the form of ምን ማድረግ እንችላለን? coordinate geometry express ማድረግ ስለምንችል we can express 0 with 1/3 ብለን በዚህ አይነት መንገድ express ማድረግ እንችላለን። in case of y-intercept you may substitute directly የተሰጠን ፈንክሽናችን ውስጥ directly substitute ማድረግ ትችላላችሁ። that means what for g at 0 this is g no g at 0 is equals to 0 plus 2 over 0 square plus 5 times 0 plus 6 ይሆናል which is equals 2 over 6. 2 over 6 means 1/3 ይሆናል ማለት ነው። you can take that is as it is። እዛም ጋር ቼክ የምናደርገው ለምንድነው? 0 is in the domain of our ፈንክሽናችን ውስጥ ስለሆነ የፈንክሽናችን ዶሜን ውስጥ ስላለ 0 ዳይሬክት ሰብስቲቱት ማድረግ እንችላለን። ነገር ግን ባይኖር ኖሮ እዚህ ዶሜናችን ውስጥ ባይኖር we can't take it that as x is equal 0 ብለን መውሰድ አንችልም። g at 0 is equals y 1/0 plus 3 is equal 1/3 ይሆናል። we can express in the form of coordinate geometry ስንገልጸው በዚህ አይነት መንገድ እንገልጸዋለን። that means g0 as it is 0 ነው የተካለው ምንድነው? since 0 is in the ዶሜናችን ውስጥ ስላለ 0ን በዛ አይነት መንገድ መስራት እንችላለን። the next one is asymptote. in case of asymptote we have horizontal and vertical asymptote. እዚህ ጋር ኦብዘርቭ ስናደርግ degree of numerator is less than degree of denominator ስለሆነ our horizontal asymptote becomes horizontal asymptote is y is equals to 0 ይሆናል since degree of the numerator is less than degree of denominator ስለሆነ። what about vertical asymptote? vertical asymptote for our function is the zeros of the denominator which is not common factor. እዚህ ጋር zeros of denominator ስንመጣ x is equal -3 እና x equal -2 ይሆን ነበር። ነገር ግን x is equals x plus 2 common factor ስለሆነ we arrived at the simplified one ነው የምንወስደው for the case of vertical asymptote. that means x is equals to -3 ይሆናል። is there a whole? yes, here we have whole አለ። ለምን? x plus 2 የጋራ ፋክተር ስለሆነ here we have whole at -2 -2 ላይ ስለሚኖረን whole when x is -2 substitute here we have this ስንተካ 1/-2 plus 3 means -2 plus 3 1 no 1 divided by 1 that is 1 is whole -2 1. next let's try to see the properties of what sign analysis እናደርጋለን or we may apply sign chart. when consider sign chart for this after simplification here we have ብለናል g of x is equals to 1/x plus 3 with x is different from -2 we say this one and we restrict the domain to so the zero series, the denominator is -3. So on the denominator, we can express such forms. X plus 3, at -3 it is 0. At the left of -3, -1. At the right it is positive. 1 over x plus 3 means the reciprocal of this number. So this is 1 over x plus 3. So the reciprocal of negative, it is negative. Reciprocal 0, that is, it is undefined. Reciprocal at the right side is positive, that is positive. So we can sketch the graph of our function using these properties. This property apply we can sketch. As we said before, the vertical asymptote is -3. This is -3 at this point. And the x-intercept, we don't have any x-intercept. Y-intercept, x0, that is 1 over 3. We say this one. What about the horizontal asymptote? Y is equals to 0 since degree of numerator is less than degree of denominator. Next one is see the properties of the sign analysis. Sign analysis knows at the left of -3, it says what? It is negative. It is negative means it must be between asymptote and below x-axis. Negative ማለት below x-axis ነው ማለት ነው ግራፋችን። When says that positive means at the right side, and it is at -3 doesn't exist means it approaches what? Both left right side approach ያደርጋል but never touch it. መንካት አይችልም። ለምን? Since x is equal -3 is vertical asymptote ስለሆነ and find at -3. And at the same time we have whole ብለናል። whole ያለን መቼ ነው? at -2 and here we have what? 1 እና -2 ላይ ምን ይኖራል ብለናል? that is whole ብለናል። at -2 ላይ whole ይኖራል ብለናል። when x is -2 the value of y that is 1 ይሆናል። So after that the graph at the right side of -3 ምን ይላል? positive ማለት above x axis ነው ግራፋችሁ ማለት ነው። So here ይሄ ይሆናል ማለት እዚህ ጋር ምንድነው የሚሆነው? it doesn't touch this one, that means whole ይሆናል። So the graph looks like this. This is the function that is g of x is equals to graph of x plus 2 over x squared plus 5x plus 6 ይሆናል። ግራፋችንን በዚህ አይነት መንገድ ዲተርሚን ማድረግ እንችላለን። ስለዚህ የምንሰራው መጀመሪያ ዶሜን ሪስትሪክት ወይም ደግሞ ዲተርሚን እናደርጋለን። then we try to find what intercept if they exist ካደረገ x እና intercept እንፈልጋለን። አሰምቶት exist ካደረገ እናደርጋለን። and check hole አለው የለውም የሚለውን ለኤክሲስ ቼክ እናደርጋለን። hole የሚኖረው ኑሜሬተሩም ዲኖሚኔተሩም የጋራ ፋክተር ሲኖራቸው that common factor the zeros of common factor makes wholly form ያደርጋል ማለት ግራፋችን። And next one you'll see the sign properties. Analysis of sign checks እናደርግ it is better to take sign chart apply ማድረጉ it gives you some clear idea ይሰጣችኋል። So you have to apply sign chart. After that sketch the graph of your function. የፈንክሽናችን ግራፍ ወይም ደግሞ ግራፋችሁን sketch ታደርጋላችሁ ማለት ነው በዚህ መንገድ። Let us see the next one says h of x is equal to x squared plus 1 over x squared minus 4x plus 4. But the domain of this first restricts the domain of h, which is equals all real number except the zeros of the denominator, as we said. Minus 4x plus 4 is equals to 0. When you determine this is equals all real number except the zeros of this means x minus 2 the whole square is equals to 0. For the zeros of the denominator, this shows that all real number except that is 2. After that, this is after determine the domain, we'll try to find the intercepts. Determine intercepts. That means either x or y intercepts. When you try to find x intercept, make here h is equals to 0. H is equal to 0. Then find this x squared plus 1 over x squared minus 4x plus 4 is equals to 0. But the value this shows that x squared plus 1 is equals to 0. This means x squared is equals -1. So we don't have any real number whose square is negative. No x intercept. No. x-intercept, no x-intercept. Similarly, make this x 0 and find the y-intercept. This is h. That means y is equals to h at 0, which is equals 0 plus 1, that is 1. 0 minus 4 times 0, that is 0, plus 4, that is 1 over 4. This is the y-intercept. Y-intercept actually 1 over 4. That means we can express in the coordinate geometry forms. This is 0 to 1 over 4. We can have this. Here, for the next one, determine the asymptotes. Asymptote determine ስናደርግ degree of numerator is equal to degree of denominator ስለሆነ the asymptote, that means horizontal asymptote, is equals to the coefficient of leading coefficient. የዚህኛው leading coefficient ነው 1 ነው is 1 ስለሆነ 1 divided by 1, that is 1. What about the vertical asymptote? Vertical asymptote is the zeros of the denominator ነው, which is no common factor. Common factor ስለሌላቸው የጋራ ፋክተር ለሁለቱም ኮመን የሆነ ፋክተር ስለሌላቸው the vertical asymptote is the zeros of denominator. What is that? X is equals to, is there any whole? We don't have any whole. And whole, no whole. Here, no whole. What's next? The next one, use what? Sign chart. Or you make what? Sign analysis እናደርጋለን። Sign analysis እናደርግ. Here we have the zeros of numerator, denominator. We don't have zeros at the numerator. Numerator is 0 መሆን አይችልም, but the denominator 0 at 2. So take here. When you consider the numerator, x squared plus 1, it is what? Positive. That means x squared plus 1, it is positive everywhere. Wherever positive. Cannot be 0 መሆን አይችልም, and negative መሆንም አይችልም. So x squared minus 4x plus 4. This means this is equals x minus 2 the whole square. At 2 right it is 0 no? At the left of 2 it is positive. At the right of 2 also had positive square ስለሆነ even function ስለሆነ it is positive everywhere, but 0 at 2 ሁለት ላይ ግን 0 ይሆናል፣ ሌላው it is positive everywhere ይሆናል። After that, divide this one. X squared plus 1 divided by x squared minus 4x plus 4. እናካፍላለን። Positive divided by positive, it is positive. Positive divided by 0, it is what? Undefined ይሆናል። ለምን ማንኛውም ነምበር ሲካፈል ለ0 undefined or meaningless ስለሆነ positive divided by positive, it is positive. The next one, we apply these properties and sketch the graph of our function. Domain or real number except 2 ብለናል, and 2 is the vertical asymptote. ሁለት vertical asymptoteችን ስለሆነ you have to take this. The horizontal asymptote is y is equals 1. What for x-intercept and y-intercept? No x-intercept and y-intercept 0 and 1 over 4. 1 over 4 means below the horizontal asymptote. 1 over 4 ማለት ከሆሪዞንታል asymptoteችን 1 over 4 less than 1 ስለሆነ we can have here 1 over 4. 1 over 4 below horizontal asymptote. 1 over 4 below horizontal asymptote ይሆናል። ለምን ከአንድ ስለሚያንስ ማለት ነው። What the next? Is there any hole? We don't have any hole የለም። It says that at the left of 2 ምን ብለናል? It is what? Positive ነው at the left of 2. But it approach to ምን ይሆናል? Approach to the asymptote approach ስለምናደርግ what it looks like የሚለውን እናያለን። At the right side of 2, it is positive. Positive means you have to consider this. Now let us see this. 1 over 4, it is less than 1 ስለሚሆን here we have 1 over 4 somewhere this ይኖራል 1 over 4. After that, when observe these properties, it is positive means it must approach the asymptote. asymptoteን approach ማድረግ አለበት። ነገር ግን how can we find this? As x means at the left of 2 means it goes to negative infinity ይሆናል። As x approach to negative infinity, what value of h of x ወዴት approach ያደርጋል? Approach to this x squared plus 1 over x squared minus 4x plus 4 ስለሆነ that means we can divide both what? Denominator by x squared እናካፍላለን። This is x squared plus 1 over x squared divided by x square divided by x square minus 4 over x square 4x over x square plus 4 over x square ይሆናል ማለት as x goes to negative infinity directly ማከፈል አንችልም so this shows that this is equals to 1 plus 1 over x square over 1 minus 4 over x plus ምን ይሆናል 4 over x square ይሆናል ይሄን ኦብዘርቭ ስናደርግ while the limit as x goes to negative infinity ይሄ value 0 ይሆናል this approach to 0 negative 4 over x also approach to 0 this also 0 yes this is approaching to 1 ይሆናል so after arriving here 1 over 4 ከሆነ በኋላ it goes to what approach to negative 1 ወደ 1 approach ያደርጋል ማለት ወደ 1 approach ያደርጋል and for the next one ይሄ ግራፍ may crosses what horizontal asymptote cross ማድረግ ይችላል horizontal asymptote never cross vertical asymptote ነው እንጂ sometimes the graph may crosses the horizontal asymptote let's check it horizontal asymptoteችን 1 ስለሆነ h is equals to 1 is equals to x square plus 1 over x square minus 4x plus 4 and solve እናደርጋለን crisscross this shows that x square minus 4x plus 4 is equals to x square plus 1 ይሆናል we cancel this x square by x square what remains negative 4x is equals to take this 4 to the right side sinus it becomes negative 3 but the value of x is equals to 3 over 4 3 over 4 means here we have let's take 1 3 over 4 is somewhere this at this point it crosses this one ግራፉን ክሮስ ያደርጋል so it goes like this ግራፋችን ይሆናል ማለት ለምን it crosses at 3 over 4 ላይ ክሮስ ያደርጋል that means the intersection for horizontal asymptote the graph of our function is 3 over 4 to 1 this like cross ያደርጋል ስለሚያደርግ the graph looks like this at the right side of this two sinus it is what positive and between the asymptote the graph looks like this ግራፋችን ይሄ ይሆናል so this is the graph of our function f of x is equals x square plus 1 over x square minus 4x plus 4 ይሆናል በዛ አይነት መንገድ graph of your function rational function sketch ማድረግ እንችላለን እዚህ ጋር ጥንቃቄ የምናደርገው ምንድነው horizontal asymptote cross የማድረግ possibility አለው የለውም የሚለው ለመስራት horizontal asymptoteችን y is equal 1 ስለሆነ make this h is equals 1 በማድረግ equate and find the value of x value በዛ አይነት መንገድ እንሰራለን ይሄን ካገኘን በኋላ it crosses at some point ላይ cross ያደርጋል ማለት let's take here is 3 over 2 so 3 over 4 x ሲሆን cross ያደርጋል take here is 1 እዚህ ጋር ሊሆን ይችላል በዛ አይነት መንገድ cross ያደርጋል and graph looks like this ይሄን ይመስላል ማለት ነው ግራፋችን ስናይ minimum value this is what 1 over 4 ይሆንና approach to 1 ያለ ይመጣል and at the left side of 2 it goes to positive infinity at the right side of 2 approaching to ሲያደርግ positive infinity ይሆናል when x goes to positive infinity እየጨመረ ሲመጣ x value ግን is value approach to 1 ይሆናል ማለት the limit ይሆናል and the graph looks like this one ግራፋችን ይሄን ይመስላል it says that f of x is equals x plus x square over x what from this restrict the domain restricts narrowed f is equals to all real number except the zeros of denominator that is 0 ይሆናል except 0 and since the degree of numerator is greater than degree of denominator ስለሆነ we have this is oblique asymptote ነው የምንለው oblique asymptote and find the x and y intercept ፈልጋል it may be either x or y if they exist ካደረጉ that means when make this y is equals to 0 scenario this is when y is equal to 0 we can find the x intercept እናገኛለን this means ምን ይሆናል ይሄንን simplify ስናደርግ if possible if you want this is x into 1 plus x divided by x ይሆናል which implies 1 plus x with x is different from 0 ይሆናል ማለት we cancel this x by x እናጥፋለን this means 0 is not in our domain domainችን አይደለም but since we obtain y is equal 0 means 0 is equals to x plus 1 implies the value of x is equals to -1 ይሆናል። ነገር ግን before we simplify this one ይሄን simplify ከማድረጋችን በፊት 0 ብታደርጉ x value ይሆናል x is equal 0 or x equal -1 ይሆናል። ነገር ግን 0 ዶሜናችን ውስጥ ስላልሆነ we exclude what 0 የሚለውን x is equal 0 የሚለውን exclude እናደርጋለን and the x intercept is equals -1 ይሆናል። or we can express in the coordinate geometry forms express እናደርገው -1 with 0 ይሆናል። when x is equal 0 we can find the y intercept. Y intercept means which is equals f at 0 or you can say this is y is equals to 0 መተካት ይቻላል? It is impossible. It is impossible. Impossible. ለምን መተካት አይቻልም? since 0 is not in our domain. domain of f ውስጥ ስለሌለ we can't consider this 0 መውሰድ አንችልም። This shows that this implies that no y intercept እንላለን። ለምን 0 ዶሜናችን ውስጥ ስለሌለ። For the next one we consider the asymptote. እዚህ ጋር degree of numerator is greater than degree of denominator ስለሆነ degree of numerator is greater than degree of denominator. What does imply? This shows that we have oblique asymptote. Oblique asymptote that is equals to y is equals oblique asymptoteችን ይሆናል it shows that y is equals to 1 plus x ይሆናል። this is the oblique asymptote ይመስላል። after that for the next one we determine what sign analysis ስናደርግ we apply sign chart here. sign chart check እናደርጋለን። is there any hole አለን? hole yes. the other thing እዚህ ጋር 1 plus 0 ስንተካ here we have hole 0 with 1 it is hole ይሆናል ማለት ነው። for the next one sign chart when consider this sign chart what the graph looks like this is equals to 1 plus x at -1 the zeroth here you have 1 plus x as the left of -1 it is negative as the right of -1 it is positive and at zeros we call this is not defined so we can sketch the graph of this is oblique asymptote when x is equal -1 the value of y that is 0 here is -1 when x is 0 the value of y is that is 1 but it is holeless they are whole ይሆናል ማለት this is 1 and we can sketch the graph looks like this and here ግራፋችን ይመስላል ማለት this is the graph of f of x is equals to x plus x square over x ይሄን ይሆናል ማለት ይሄ ይመስላል። ለምን it becomes this oblique asymptote 1 plus x ነው የሚሆነው and at 0 ላይ ሆል ስለሚሆን at -1 it is 0 ይሆናል so join them join ስናደርግ the graph looks like this ይሄን ይመስላል ማለት ግራፋችን። let us consider the next one ስለዚህ በዛ አይነት መንገድ ስኬች ማድረግ እንችላለን ማለት ግራፋችን። let us consider the next one it says that f of x is equals 1 plus x square over x as we did before first restrict the domain of or determine domain of our f domain ስንፈልግ ምን ይሆናል all real number except the zeros of denominator ስለሆነ except 0 ይሆናል። after that find the intercepts ስንፈልግ x or y intercept ይሆናል። x intercept ስንወስድ make what y 0 ስለሆነ 0 is equals 1 plus x square over x ይሆናል which implies 1 plus x square is equals to 0 but x square is equals -1 this shows that we don't have any real number with square negative ስለሌለ -1 ስለማይሆን no x intercept no እንላለን የለም። similarly we can find y intercept means when x is equals to 0 x 0 ማድረግ ይቻላል አይቻልም? ለምን? it is not in our domain. x is equal 0 ዶሜናችን ስላልሆነ no y intercept የለንም እንላለን። after that next one take the asymptote. እዚህ ጋር degree of numerator greater than degree of denominator ስለሆነ the asymptote becomes ምን ይሆናል? simplify ስናደርገው which is equals 1 over x plus what? x ነው። this shows y is equals to x is its oblique asymptote ይሆናል since the degree of numerator is greater than degree of denominator ስለሆነ ይሆናል። for the next one the other one is apply sign chart. That means sign analysis. Sign analysis knows you'll try to consider the sign of these values. This means x that is 0, the zeros of this denominator. At the left of this 0, 1 over x, consider this x. At the left it is negative, at the right it is positive. Take the reciprocal of this one. 1 over x, it is negative. At 0, it is undefined. At the right, it is reciprocal of positive, it becomes positive. This is negative. After that, we can sketch the graph of our function. እነዚህ የምንፈልጋቸውን properties determine ስላደረግን let's try to determine the graph of our function graph sketch እናደርግ። y is equals x means it passes through the origin. This is equals y is equals to x. This is oblique asymptote. ይህን ካል when consider 1 over x, the value here of 1 over x, this is the remainder one. Determine the sign of this remainder function. Remainder functionation consider scenario. At the left of this 0, it is negative. Negative means it is below x-axis, below x-axis. So when this x value approach to 0 at the left side, in your left side 0 approach here, for instance, negative 0.000000 something, 1 divided by this one, it goes to what? Negative infinities. So the graph looks like this. It returns back and the graph looks like this. Graph actually is lemon. Zero approach at the left side, it goes to negative infinity. Negative again. When x approach to negative infinity, the value of this approach to 0, but this approach to negative infinity. So the graph looks like this. When come to at the right side of 0 ስንመጣ እዚጋ የሪሜንደራችን as consider this vertical asymptote ይሆናል። ለምን? It is not defined at 0. እዚጋ vertical asymptote for remainder. ሪሜንደራችን function x is equal 0 it's vertical asymptote ይሆናል። ነገር ግን oblique ነው 0 ላይ undefined ስለሆነ ምን ይሆናል? never touch it is touch አድርገውም የሪሜንደር function። So this shows that at the right of 0 means 1 divided by very small number 0.00000 something is የሚያሳየው ምን ማለት ነው? It goes to positive infinity, but this one is 0, so it goes to positive infinity like this. When x approach to positive infinity, that means it goes to this way. በዚህ way ሲመጣ x እየጨመረ ወደ positive infinity ሲሄድ 1 over x, this approach to what? 0 plus this x approach to positive infinity, it becomes positive infinity. So the graph looks like ግራፋችን ይሄን ይመስላል። ስለዚህ በዚህ አይነት መንገድ ግራፉን ስኬች ማድረግ እንችላለን። whatever the case, ማንኛውም ኬዝ ቢገጥመን የመጀመሪያው ስራችን we'll try to determine x intercept. የመጀመሪያው ስራችን determine the domain of your function, then intercepts, then asymptote if you have, and last one you have to take sign analysis እናደርጋለን። በዚህ አይነት መንገድ ሶልቭ ማድረግ እንችላለን ማለት ነው። The next one, sketch the graph of this. In sketch scenario, it says h of x equals 1 over x plus 2 ይላል። What does it apply? This show that domain for this is የመጀመሪያው ዶሜናችን ይሆናል h is equals to all real number except the zeros of denominator except 0. After that, what is the intercept? The next one, it says h of x equals 1 over x plus 2. From this, the first one we'll try to determine. The next one, it says h of x equal 1 over x plus 2. As we did before, the first thing we'll try to do is determine the domain of our function h, which is equals all real number except the zeros of denominator ስለሆነ denominator 0 የሚሆነው መቼ ነው? 0 ሲሆን ይሆናል። The next one we'll try to find what? Intercepts ብለናል። Intercepts እንፈልግ make x and y intercepts, x or y intercepts, and sorry, x and y intercept if they exist. When make that y0 means y0 ሲሆን which is equals 1 over x plus 2. What does imply? This implies that negative 2 is equals 1 over x ሲሆን which implies negative 2x is equals 1 ስለሚሆን the value of x is equals negative 1 over 2 ይሆናል። So as it is possible, then we can express this in the form of coordinate geometry ስንገልጸው negative 1 over 2 with 0 ይሆናል ማለት. This is the x intercept. This is x intercept. X in similarly we can find y-intercept ስንፈልግ make x 0 ግን in the domain ስላልሆነ we can't make it. When x is equal 0 we can find what? H at 0, but it is impossible. No. ለምን impossible ሆነ? Because 0 is not in our domain. 0 is not element of domain H ውስጥ ስላልሆነ we can't consider this. When it comes to asymptote, you have horizontal asymptote, vertical asymptote, and whole if it exists, and vertical asymptote. When it comes to horizontal asymptote, since h of x is equal to 1 over x plus 2, this shows that y is equals to 2 is its horizontal asymptote. Its vertical asymptote, the zeros of denominator, x is equals to 0. In check my answer. Hence, simplify scenario, it becomes 2x plus 1 over what? X on our collect scenario. This is 2x plus 1. Since they have the same degree ስላላቸው, the coefficient for denominator 2 ነው, denominator 1 ስለሆነ 2 divided by 1, that is 2 ይሆናል. This is a horizontal asymptote. The other one, we apply sign properties, sign chart analysis እናደርጋለን. When you come to here, the zeros of the numerator and denominator is that numerator negative 1 over 2, denominator that is 0. And so note this 2x plus 1 at negative 1 over 2 it is 0, at the left is negative, at the right is positive. When you consider x at 0 it is 0 ይሆናል, at the left negative ነው, at the right is positive. So እዚህ ጋር divide them, the quotient ስንወስድ 2x plus 1 over x ስናካፍል negative divided by negative it is positive, 0 divided by negative it is 0, positive divided by negative ማለት it is negative. እዚህ ጋር ስንመጣ positive divided by 0 it is undefined ይሆናል, positive divided by positive it is positive. After that, sketch the graph. We take all the properties. The vertical asymptote here is 0. Vertical asymptote is x is equal to 0 on y-axis ላይ ይሆናል ማለት ነው። What about the horizontal asymptote? Horizontal asymptoteችን 2 ነው. This is equals to, let's consider here is 2. The next one, x and y-intercept. X-intercept means here is negative 1 over 2, 0. X negative 1 over 2 ሲሆን somewhere it is. Let's take here we have negative 1 over 2, the value of y is 0. For the next, is there any y-intercept? We don't have any y-intercept. Lemon, x cannot be 0. 0 in the domain of f ስላልሆነ or in our function. In domaination ስላልሆነ 0, we can't take x is equal to 0. So no y-intercept. Y-intercept የለም. And it says that at the left of negative 1 over 2, it is positive. At the left of negative 1 over 2 means somewhere this, it is positive. Positive means it must be above x-axis. And at negative 1 over 2 it is 0. Between negative 1 over 2 እና በ0 መካከል it is negative ይላለስ. It is negative opposed to the vertical asymptote here. ግራፋችን ይሆን on this side. At 0 ላይ undefined ነው. At the right of 0 it is positive. Positive means between the asymptote here. ይሆን. So this is the graph of our function h of x is equals to 1 over x plus 2 ይሆናል ማለት. This is our ግራፋችን ይሆን. Let us see the last one. Last one, it says g of x is equals to x square over x square minus 4 ይላል. As we did before, የመጀመሪያው ስራችን ምንድነው? Determine the domain of g. The domain of g determine ስናደርግ it becomes all real number except the zeros of denominator. That means x square minus 4 is equals to 0. What is that? Which is equals all real number except what? X square is equal 4 means plus or minus 2 except this. ወይም x is equal negative 2 or x is equals to ማለትም ትችላለች. Or this is equals all real number except negative 2 and 2 ይሆናል. After obtaining this domain, the next one, determine the intercepts. Intercept means x and y intercept እንፈልጋለን. When y is 0, that means g is equals to y, because this is 0 is equals to x square over x square minus 4. When solve this one, this shows that x is equal to 0 ይሆናል። በcoordinate geometry form ስንጽፈው 0 0 is the x intercept ይሆናል። Similarly, y intercept means y or g at 0. At 0 is equals 0 divided by 0 minus 4, which is equal to 0. Again, when expressing coordinate geometry form ስንጽፈው 0 0, they have the same one. Intercept አለም. The next one, try to find the asymptotes. Asymptote check ስናደርግ ባትፋው vertical and horizontal asymptote. እዚህ ጋር degree of numerator denominator the same ስለሆነ the horizontal asymptote for this is y is equals, leading coefficient quotient ስለሆነ is 1 ነው። This is 1 divided by 1 that is 1. What about the vertical asymptote for this? The zeros of denominator. What is that? This is the zeros of denominator. When you come to the vertical asymptote is equal to the zeros of denominator. X is equals -2 and x is equals 2. Or x is equal plus or minus 2 ይሆናል ማለት ነው። ይሄን ስንወስድ positive divided by positive it is positive, it is undefined. Positive divided by negative it is negative. Yes, 0 divided by negative እዚህ ጋር 0 ነው ኑሜሬተራችን፣ ዲኖሚኔተር ኔጌቲቭ ስለሆነ it is 0. Here is positive, this one denominator negative ነው, positive divided by negative it is negative. እዚህ ጋር the numerator is positive but the denominator at 0 ስለሆነ positive divided by 0 it is undefined. As right of 2, both numerator and denominator they are positive. Positive divided by positive it is positive. Now we can sketch the graph. ግራፋችንን sketch እናደርጋለን። Now we can sketch the graph. So what you have here, you have the horizontal asymptote is x is equals 1. Here is 1. The vertical asymptotes are ሁለት vertical asymptote አለ, that is -2. -2 here we have. The other one is that is 2. X is equals 2. Here is 2. Here is -2. Next one, x-intercept and y-intercept, it is 0, 0. X-intercept 0, y-intercept also 0. The next one, we'll see the properties of what? Our sign analysis. Sign analysis ስናይ it says at left side of -2 ማለት it is positive ላይ positive means above x-axis and it lies between the asymptotes ስለሆነ this becomes this one ይሆናል። between -2 and 0 it is negative. በ-2 እና በ0 መካከል negative means when it approaches to -2 ወደ -2 approach ሳደርግ at the right side it goes to negative infinity. Yes, at 0 it is 0 and as the left side of 2 እዚህ ጋር right side of -2 ወደ negative infinity approach ያደርጋል ሲስተማችን። as the left side of 2 ስንመጣ still what 1.99 something minus 4 square 1.99 something square minus 4 ሲሆን it is ወደ 0 but it approaches to negative side of 0 ይሆናል። so this positive value divided by 0 at the left side it goes to negative infinity again. Since at 0 it is 0, at the left side of 2 it goes to negative infinity. Here. Next one, at the right side of 2 it is positive. Positive means above x-axis and between the asymptote the graph looks like this. Yes, this is the graph of our function f of x is equals to x square over x square minus 4. ስለዚህ to sketch the graph of any rational function የመጀመሪያው ስራችን ምን ሆነ? Determine the domain. So to sketch the graph of rational function ግራፋችን ይሄን ይመስላል። To sketch the graph of rational function the first thing that we'll try to do is የመጀመሪያው ስቴፕ ምን ሆነ? Determine the domain. Domain of your function. Domain. The second one, you try to determine the intercepts if they exist, if any exist ካደረገ ይሄንን እንፈልጋለን ማለት። The next one, third one, you try to determine the asymptotes and whole. You have to consider all these things. እነዚህን በሙሉ satisfy determine ማድረግ አለብን if any. Horizontal asymptote means we can find this when this one we obtain this one when degree of numerator is less than or equal degree of denominator ይሄ ከሆነ we can find the horizontal asymptote ምን ማለት ነው less than ከሆነ degree of numerator less than degree of denominator ከሆነ horizontal asymptote y is equals ይሆናል 0 ይሆናል ማለት ነው ነገር ግን እኩል ከሆኑ this becomes quotient of the leading coefficients እኩል ከሆኑ quotient of leading coefficients ratio ይሆናል ማለት ratio of them ይሆናል y is equals that oblique asymptote means this show that when degree of numerator is greater than degree of denominator ከሆነ in that case we have oblique asymptote y is equals something ይኖራል in case of vertical asymptote that is the zeros of the denominator x is equals zeros of denominator with that is not common factor both numerator denominator after simplification ወይም ደግሞ ለኑሜሬተራችንም ለዲኖሚኔተራችን common factor ማይሆን ከሆነ x is equal to that value a or something b becomes vertical asymptote ይሆናል whole means you have to have a common factor and cancel that values and make that value a with this f of a becomes a whole if what if x minus a is common factor both numerator and denominator common factor ከሆነ በዛ አይነት መንገድ whole ይሆናል ማለት ነው ለምን ግራፋችንም እስኪ ስናረግ doesn't include this point ይሄን point include አያደርግም ነው the next one what for you have to consider sign analysis means see the property of your graph property ስናይ in this case you have to apply sign chart apply ብታደርጉ የተሻለ ይሆናል this sign chart show that if it is negative means the graph is what below x axis ይሆናል below x axis if it is equals 0 means what is equal 0 means it is on x axis and if it is positive this show that it is above x axis ይሆናል ስለዚህ በዚህ አይነት መንገድ ግራፉን ስኬች ለማድረግ it is important for using sign chart last one using all these properties we discussed before we can sketch the graph of your function graph of the function የተሰጠን function graph sketch እናደርጋለን ማለት ነው እነዚህ properties consider ማለት this is the way of sketching graph of rational function በዛ አይነት መንገድ sketch ማድረግ እንችላለን so ቻናሉን share like subscribe ማድረጋችሁን አትርሱ ለሌሎች መድረስ ስላለበት ሌላ ጊዜ ሌሎች ጥያቄዎችን ይዤላችሁ እመጣለሁ መልካም ጊዜ እንደሆነላችሁ